Wow, Trinidad Chambliss is actually trending on Twitter right now.
Who?
The Ferris quarterback. So Ole Miss.
Ah,
Definitely dual threat. He threw for just under 3,000 yards through 26 touchdowns. He ran for about 1,000 yards and ran 25 touchdowns.
hmm. Okay. We are hosted.
And we are live on YouTube.
God, he was a 3-star, 86 ranking.
That's what happens when you win Division II national championships and you're in the state of Michigan.
He's also only got one more year of eligibility, it looks like. Unless, he may have redshirted his first one. So he may, well, they don't have him listed as a redshirt sophomore. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are you ready?
Yeah. Twitter is undecided about this. Interesting. Alrighty, let's go recording.
Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 95 of the Warrior House podcast. A week off, Sangster. A lot has happened,
A
but
lot
we are
is
back. We have so much to talk about in the way of Wayne State athletics. So, what do we got? Well, actually, before we get to that, any other fun news going on around the
well,
conference?
we do have some terrible news. The Purdue Northwest coach, Boomer Roberts, okay, Boomer, has been fired, unfortunately. Doesn't really come as a shock if you look at his record. He's been there, I believe, since 2018 or so. Not the greatest, even though I think last year was his high mark. He got maybe one or two games under 500. So is what it is. The worst part of this though is that we lose the okay Boomer joke when he
It was
went
one of
off.
the best.
That was elite. Also, Andy Bronkma from Ferris State won a national title with them, I think in 2018 or 19. He is no longer there to torture us. He is now at Central Michigan University. He's moved up now.
As the basketball coach, right?
Yes, as the basketball coach, not as like the assistant vice president or whatever. Now, if only the Grand Valley women's basketball coach could move up as well, that'd be sweet. But I haven't seen any news about that yet. But it could be coming. They won a national championship.
That's true. Who knows who's knocking on their door? Western Michigan is not that far down the street.
True, true. But also, man, we've got a lot of transfer portal news, not out of Wayne State too much. We've kind of already talked about it, but big things happening for Ferris. A bunch of guys, especially late in their spring season, have been entering the transfer portal. Big news today is that Trinidad Chambliss, their QB1 from last year, uh, jumped all the way up to Ole Miss from Ferris State. I mean, good for him, but that's I don't know a lot about Ole Miss football. Twitter seems to think that this is a kind of a head scratcher, but we'll see what he can do. And I mean, a player, you look at his stats, you're going to find a way to put him on the field, whether or not it's as, your QB1, but, you put him, split him next to the quarterback. You can do a lot of funky things with that.
Right. Yeah. So, a lot going on there. I mean, we talked a little bit about, I don't know if we threw it out there. We kind of like tune in on the, I guess the verbal commits site that I usually look at for college basketball transfers just to find out. And I know that Kareem and Rob Lee Jr., we mentioned, were in the transfer portal. And additionally, Carmelo Harris, I think, recently got in there. None of them have been listed as going anywhere else so far. And I have my own thoughts about why Rob Lee Jr.'s name is listed there. We'll have to see what happens there. But no incoming transfers so far for the Wayne State basketball teams that I have seen. Although I don't know how to check out transfer news for women's basketball. So I'm completely out of the loop with what's going on there.
Yeah, they're really the only way in the Division 2 level you can follow it is by just searching, quote, Wayne State, and then just kind of scrolling through it. And there's a lot that Wayne State College posts as well. So makes it a little bit hard. I do believe that Wayne State women's basketball did have a high school signing 2, 3 weeks ago. So something to look out for. I know that once we get closer to the season, there will be something posted about that.
That's right. Since we last talked as well, Sangster, March Madness has completed. I don't care who won that one; doesn't really matter. But Bar Madness,
I
well,
did
actually,
win the women's Division 1 bracket and won my bracket pool, so that was
oh,
exciting.
well, there you go. I was gonna say, we did have a winner for the Wayne State, or I'm sorry, the Warrior House Bracket Challenge, the Warrior House Hot Tub. But Bar Madness was the really big one here, and Lexington Bar continued to share our stuff out. They got a ton of votes, and they ended up winning for the second time. They won 2 years ago, and they got their second title just this year. So we haven't gotten out to visit them yet, but we're gonna get out there hopefully shortly, get them their cool new award because one, they deserve it because they won, but two,
Yeah.
they put it up on the barn and they show it with pride, and I love that. So,
And
congrats,
three, it's a
Lexington.
really awesome place to go to.
Really is.
Really
So,
nice. I mean, awesome cocktails, beer and a shot special. And even if you don't get the special, if you're not into cocktails, they've got a whole big selection of beers too. It's pretty reasonably priced.
that's right. So we got that coming up. So with all that, we have a ton of sports to talk about and a ton of action that's happened. So bear with us here. We got quite a bit. So starting out with baseball, we had opening days since we last talked. The Tigers opening day happened. Wayne State baseball opening day happened. Back on April 1st, Wayne State took on Finley. This was, I believe, the home opener, and
Yep.
Finley ended up winning that one by a score of 4-3. Excuse me. Going into the weekend, Wayne State had a 4-game home series versus Roosevelt, and we swept. That includes a walk-off game on Saturday, and also a big comeback. Was that the Sunday game, Sinks, or was that also on Saturday?
That was the Saturday game. The
Okay.
second one. Yep.
So four wins there for Wayne State, big ones. That's conference wins right there. We'll talk a little bit more about what the standings are meaning because they're starting to shape out a little bit. Rolling into Tuesday, April 8th, Wayne State headed down to Finley to take on the Oilers, and Wayne State slapped Finley and won by a score of 21-6. I don't really know what this series is all about. I guess it's just like one early home and home. Like it's a single game. They don't even do double headers. So they're just heading down I-75, or in Finley's case, heading up I-75 once in a while to play each other and just kind of give you like a midweek, game
Yeah,
essentially.
and
But
it does help for regional seedings when you're considering the Midwest region as well.
that's a very fair point. So with that win, saying so you got the note here that Coach Ryan Kelly now has 501 wins. So one of those Roosevelt ones, if I'm not mistaken, was his 500th win. I think I remember seeing
Yes.
that actually get posted.
Yep.
And then
That's correct.
closing out,
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, that's also good for a 611 winning percentage. The one thing we do have to touch on is that this walk off on Saturday, I don't have the exact history, but it seems historic because Wayne State ended up winning that game 9-8. Guess how many runs they scored in the ninth inning?
Was it 9 in the ninth?
It was, for context, it was 8-2 in the,
Oh,
well, that kind of
oh,
answers the question. They scored 7 runs in the ninth inning to win that game. So,
yeah.
and I think we were talking with Brady a little bit like that. Yeah, one, he made an awesome call calling this game, but two, like, they were thinking in the press box, and it just wasn't their day. But wait a minute, could they win this? And sure enough, they pull this off for a huge come from behind victory. So awesome stuff from Wayne State in that series.
Yeah, that was a good one to see. I followed along a little bit with some of that. Obviously, you got to make sure to shout out Brady on that one. And then the hard one, we keep talking about all these conference games. Wayne State headed up to Saginaw Valley for a 4-game weekend series. Saginaw Valley wins game one by a score of 9-2. Saginaw Valley wins game two by a score of 4-1. Wayne State comes back in game three to win that one 13-2. And unfortunately, stopping Wayne State from getting the series split, Saginaw Valley closes it out with a 10-3 win. So we go 1-3 at Saginaw Valley. Not the way you want it to happen, but again, standings will come up here in the second half of this episode. Saginaw Valley is one of the higher up there teams. So this is one of those that, you're going to fight and scrap for just about every win, every run you can possibly get. And this is a perfect example of that where, yeah, just offensively, with the exception of that one game, we only put up 6 runs. So we're averaging 2 runs a game. I'm sorry, but in the, a high
In
stakes
college
game like that,
baseball, it's a little tough.
two don't do it. Two
Yep,
don't do it.
it
So,
doesn't.
so that's the wrap up on baseball, Sangster.
Yep. And the other diamond sport, we got softball. They did have a 2-game home series against Tiffin on April 2nd. Unfortunately, it was canceled due to the weather. Following it up on April 4th, they had a 2-game doubleheader against Grand Valley. They lost the first game 1-3, but they won the second game 5-4. April 6th, they had a 2-game doubleheader, kind of reductive there, against Purdue Northwest. Again, Wayne State splits that one. They won the first game 3-2 and lost the second 3-4. So 2 games where you score 3 runs. Unfortunately, in that second game wasn't enough to get over Purdue Northwest. They also had a doubleheader at Saginaw Valley. It might have been like a Tuesday or was something in there. My dates are kind of all messed up. Unfortunately,
This was a
Saginaw Valley,
Wednesday.
pardon.
This was a Wednesday.
Yes. So unfortunately, Saginaw Valley swept that one 9-1 and 11-4. Saginaw Valley is one of, I believe, the better teams uh, in the GLIAC right now in softball and looking like that in baseball as well. Coming up though, Wayne State did have some home games against 3 different teams. Doubleheader against Roosevelt, which Wayne State again split, won the first game 5-3, lost the second 2-6. Another doubleheader against Parkside, which unfortunately Parkside swept 3-2 and 3-1. And then just today, Tuesday, April 15th, Wayne State had a doubleheader against Tiffin, another not in conference, but Midwest region school in the GMAC. Unfortunately, Tiffin swept that one as well, 7-1 and 10-4.
A lot of softball action. And one of the funny things, we actually had a chance to go to our first softball game this last weekend
Yes.
during the Wayne State spring practice. It wasn't really
Okay.
much of a game, to be honest with you, but
We'll
we were
get to
hanging out this yeah, we were hanging out there for a bit, but we were able to make it over to the softball game. We got there just after game one ended, hung
correct.
out in the lot for a little bit, talked to some football alumni, went over and checked out game number 2 there. So, and that was actually the game that Wayne State ended up losing against the Parkside.
Yep. Rangers.
So bummer there, but
Yep.
yes, we will get to football here in just a minute. Wayne State women's tennis was in. They were
Oh,
nowhere near Wayne State for this one. They were everywhere but the lower peninsula of Michigan. On Friday, way back when they headed on up to Lake Superior State for an away GLIAC match, and Wayne State wins this one by a score of 5-2. Saturday, they head on over to Michigan Tech, and Wayne State wins that one 6-1. Continuing on, Wayne State heads to Roosevelt over in Chicago, Illinois, and Wayne State wins that one, sweeping it 7-0. And then they head on down to Indiana and sweep Purdue Northwest 7-0 as well. So at no point in any of those did it seem like the Wayne State women's tennis team was not going to get a win. And they're going to continue to solidify themselves as probably the best squad in GLIAC women's tennis. It certainly seems like it's shaping up that way.
yeah, definitely in the GLIAC, and I'd even make a case that they probably one of the best squads in the Midwest as well. We're not going to be able to say that for sure until we get to the Midwest regionals. That's coming up sooner rather than later, though. On the men's tennis side, they had the same opponents, and unfortunately, Wayne State they had a good couple weeks. Unfortunately, they did drop their last game. The first game, though, against Lake Superior State, they won 5-2. Second Saturday away at Michigan Tech, they won 6-1. Then in Chicago, they were at Roosevelt, whom they beat 7-0. And unfortunately, then in Hammond, Indiana, they lost to Purdue Northwest. A close loss, though, 3-4.
One of the funny things about that is I was going through everything that had happened. The
Yep.
first 3 matches for both the women's and men's team had the exact same score, and then I was like,
Yeah, that was pretty
dang
wild.
it, it was close.
Yeah,
I was actually going to
and
pull
you
up
know
the.
that something had to happen to kind of mess that up at the end.
Sure. I was going to pull up the box score for that Wayne
Yep.
State game against Purdue Northwest. And honestly, just it seems like a lot of it, at least two of the singles events went to the third set there. And Purdue Northwest was able to get those. Also, Purdue Northwest got the individual, or I'm sorry, the doubles point. So
Yep.
yeah, it definitely just seemed like a little bit of an off day for Wayne State, especially when you look at, Purdue Northwest does not seem like a team ranking wise that they're
They're
ranked number
receiving votes.
29. They're
Yeah.
they're up there, but as a top 25, a top 20 team that Wayne State is with leadership they have and all that. If we I don't think we're actually going to be playing Purdue Northwest again unless we get to GLIAC play, GLIAC conference play, the
Can't.
tournament. Then I feel like at that point it's one of those like I don't know if this is a team that can beat us twice in a row. I think we're just that good of a team. We happen to be in their facility and they were able to make it happen. So bummer there,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And it goes back to what we've said all year is that, to quote one of our favorite coaches, this team did not return a lot of production coming back from the previous season. So again, what they're doing is still really excellent when you consider that they're playing with what, three freshmen, a sophomore, a senior, and a grad student that transferred in. So again, this is still a very good Wayne State squad. You're not going to win every game again, especially on the road, far away in Hammond, Indiana. But close game could have gone either way. But Wayne State still definitely has an opportunity to bounce back this upcoming week.
Yep, absolutely. So that is what we have for the tennis side of things. Really good stuff there. We'll talk about them here again in a minute. We always like to throw volleyball in there. Funny enough, as we were getting, as we were hanging out pregame for the Wayne State football spring game, somebody stopped through us and was like, "You guys happen to know where the volleyball match is going on?" And of course, nowadays, like we're not that surprised at it because we know the schedule pretty well.
Yep.
But it was funny that somebody was going to watch that. So I mean, that's definitely pretty cool there.
I
So, but
guess
this
would
was
be
the
a
whole.
Saginaw Valley fan, but you never know.
Certainly seems like it. So this was the well, there was actually two that went on 1 week, probably about a week and a half
Two
ago at
weeks
this
ago,
point.
yeah.
There was a spring tournament that Wayne State put on, and then just this last Saturday, the 12th, I'm sorry, Wayne State took on Saginaw Valley, as you just said, Sangster. So no score kept to that one that I'm aware of, but hopefully it was fun, and hopefully that person who asked us where volleyball was going on had an absolute blast on Wayne State's campus.
Yeah, really hope they did. I think when we just happened to be coming out of the spring showcase, I think they had just wrapped up the volleyball game. I think we're going to try and pop in for that one. Unfortunately, they had finished up. We're just going to assume that Wayne State shut out Saginaw Valley because that's generally what we want to happen.
That's right.
Moving on, though, we did have some women's outdoor track and field action. First at the uh, Oakland University Golden Grizzlies Invite, not to be confused with an upcoming Oakland Golden Grizzlies matchup for track coming up this coming week. But we did have some outstanding performances here. Uh, we set five all-time top 10 performances. First from Elise Miller in the 100-meter dash. She set a eighth in school history standing. Let's see, we've also got Anna Godowski in the 800-meter run, set a fourth in school history time. Megan Zanow set a fifth in school history record in the 100-meter hurdles. And let's see what else we've got. Renee Kutchka set a 10th in school history record in the triple jump. And that looks like it's it.
Yeah, really good one there. I was looking over at the other event that was going on for the track and field team, which was the following week, which is the CMU Chippewa Challenge. And this was another big event. I mean, there was a ton of events going on at this one. The big takeaway from this one was that Olivia Finley, ended up winning this one, that whole event, and she was 0.08 meters away from the school record. And for those of us Americans that don't know what the heck that is, it's about 3 inches. That's the difference. And she jumped at about 1.62 meters. So I mean, that's right around like I want to say like 5.5 feet, something like that. So she was, she's getting pretty close to being able to push that school record there, so she can keep kind of, moving along there. I mean, that may be a name to keep in mind as we continue to move on through the outdoor track and field season here. But a number of events here. They won the 4x100 relay, and then Peyton Hansen also won the javelin uh, toss throw. I actually don't even know what that is, but well, I know what the javelin is. I don't know how to actually say it, but she got fifth in school history in that one with 34.49 meters. So pretty solid there. Pretty good showing for our track and field team. As we continue to say, every time we talk about them, we're always kind of pushing up against some school records. So very cool there.
Yeah, really great stuff. And we know that this team has been split between two different events, and it's looking that way. It looks like they're going to be having three different events coming up. But first, though, we did have some men's golf action about 2 weeks ago, Sunday through Tuesday. They were at the Ken Partridge Invitational in Noblesville, Indiana, which was hosted by the University of Indianapolis. Wayne State again finished second out of 20 teams competing. They lost again to Missouri S&T. At that time, Missouri S&T, I think, was ranked number 18. Wayne State was just under them, somewhere in the 20s. So a strong showing for Wayne State to be able to beat the rest of the teams under them. Unfortunately, Josh DiCarlo was the only Wayne State golfer to finish below par here. But also this previous, I think Monday, they had the Motor City Meltdown, not to be confused with the Motor City Shakedown that happened in the fall season, but here again at what is it called? TCP. Yeah, TCP
Yep.
Michigan. Wayne State won this one. They were the first place team again against a lot of teams that they would be facing in this region. So yeah, they beat Ferris State pretty handily. Wayne State was 7 over par. Ferris State was 18 over. Parkside was 26 over. Saginaw Valley was 28 over. Wayne State's B team also beat Purdue Northwest and Lake Superior State's A teams. So outstanding showing on your home course for Wayne State here.
One thing I wanted to throw out there really quick, thanks about
Yeah.
that invitation where you said Josh DiCarlo was the only Wayne State golfer to finish below par.
Yep.
Correct. There was 112 golfers in that tournament. I'm sorry, 13 finished par or better. So, I mean that certainly seems like that course was playing pretty tough, much
Yeah.
like the Masters. By the way, there's some pretty low, pretty rough scores in the Masters. But I just wanted to throw that out there really quick. Some pretty cool stuff there, and there were some big name national, well, as we would expect, some big name schools and some highly ranked individual golfers. I mean, like for instance, Grand Valley, not to kind of shout them out, but number 8 golfer in the country right now for D2, number 129. I got a number 24. So a lot of your top, 100, top 25 even golfers were there. So pretty cool event for them there. The other thing I wanted to mention is because I was like, why would you call this the Motor City Meltdown? Like, that just feels like, is it because it's spring and things are melting?
That actually makes a lot more sense now that I think about it.
It took you saying it to finally be like click with me that that's what it is, and not just like you went out on the course and hit a bunch of triple bogeys and had a meltdown. So
That's what I would do.
that's what I would do. At best, we would have triple bogey. We're 10 or better. So like that's to the point where you don't even call it like a quintuple bogey. You just call it like an 8 bogey.
Yeah.
And that's about where my golf game is at. So the women's golf was also happening. They were at the Ohio Dominican NC4K Classic over there in Grove City, Ohio. We did not participate in this one last year, but out of the 16 teams, Wayne State finished 6th, and Claudia Portillo led for Wayne State at plus 13, tied for number 12 in the field individually. Looking over at the event that they actually have going on right now. We're live, we're active right now. The Cab Classic is currently ongoing, and I believe this is hosted by Walsh. Is that right?
Yes, and it looks like it just might have finished up.
Oh, get us some scores. Get us the T. What we
Well,
got?
Wayne State did finish second, uh just behind Gannon, but over Ohio Dominican, Saginaw Valley State, Walsh, Grace, Malone, Ursuline, and Seton Hill. Uh had some pretty good scores out of 56 total golfers. Both Sable Imesh and Claudia Portillo finished tied for fourth, and Ting Yu Kuo finished tied for seventh. So pretty good stuff from these golfers. a nice bounce back from their previous competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very quickly getting to the end of their season as well, and
Yes.
it's nice to see. We have a number of events going on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we will be talking about them actually coming up here pretty soon.
Mm.
Speaking of the
Well,
Masters,
the men's team we will. The women's GLIAC championship is actually the next week, so
that's right.
gotta
You're
wait for
right.
that one.
So hold out for women's golf until the next episode, if that's what you want to hear. Well, we'll talk about them at that point. But in the second half of this episode, we got some men's golf to talk about. So with that, Sangster, we're going to close it out. We're going to talk about this spring football event that happened.
So
Was
that's a
that
showcase. I think is a nice word for
the
it.
the showcase? Yeah. So we were able to make it out to that one. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to or not, but we were able to make it. We were in attendance. We had a very light tailgate. We got to talk to, as I mentioned, a ton of football alumni that got to show up. We talked a little bit about the current state of things, a lot of their thoughts around the team, a lot of the coaching changes that are going on, and I wish I could say that we saw some of the things to expect that we would see changing in this upcoming season. I don't know if there was really much for me to grip onto, though, to be honest with you, short of we now know that there's a new offensive coordinator. We got
Yeah.
to see him out on the field. He was working with the quarterbacks most of the time that we were out there. Outside of that, though, I don't really have much.
Yeah, just the general vibes are that we would like to think that the defense is going to be back. They've returned a lot of I'll say it. They return a lot of dogs coming back for defense. Offense, I think it's just going to be as far as this offensive line can carry them. I think we might have had a little bit of problems last year. Uh, we'll see what they can put together this year. All at this point, all of our quarterbacks have game time experience. I think except for Jaden Meeks, but all of these guys have played at some point at least half to three quarters of a season. So it's definitely going to be a true competition there. And I think the biggest question is going to be who's going to be kicking the ball. We've lost both Griffin Milovansky and Jeremy Terrace to graduation. They're out of the program. Hopefully, Griffin gets on to bigger and better things. He's looking pretty good for NFL. Might get. I'd like to see him get a try out there, but we're going to see who's be kicking the ball for us. But if there is one thing to hope for is that we do return Miles McCatherine, leading wide receiver from last year. We return Xavier Tyus, who was actually the leading rusher, but we also return what's his name, Jeremiah Sterling Jr., uh, long standing guy in the locker room, and I think we're beyond those guys. There's going to be some questions. Who's going to be participating in the offense, but then it goes back to this defense. Man, this defense last year was able to play. I think they got admittedly that stuck on the field way too much because of how the offense went. If they can improve this year under the new offensive coordinator, I think Wayne State has a lot better vibes going forward for this season.
And luckily, and this is the optimist side of me, there's so much room to go up. There's so little room to go down.
Right.
And I mean, we talked about the defense, and I know the name I keep preaching is Elijah Folks. He's back. Anthony
Yep.
Walk Jr., who I believe you
Yep.
mentioned, is back. So there's a number of uh, guys that come back for this defense, who, as long as they can continue playing at the level that they have been playing at, which I don't have any reason to think they can't. They're all 19 to 21 years old or whatever. So like, they're at a point that really they should only get better. They should only continue to improve.
Right.
And granted, like, everybody, all the other teams around them are going to improve as well. That's just kind of part of the game there. But I agree. I mean, like, I wish we could have seen a little bit of what the offense was going to look like. We heard a little bit about, like, maybe the personnel isn't quite there yet. Some of the guys are hurt. Some of the guys are rehabbing right now. We have a lot of guys coming in through transfers or from recruiting or what have you. But yeah, we definitely didn't get to see offensively what to expect. And maybe that's by design. Maybe it's just we don't have it knocked out yet. We just don't really know for sure what kind of scheme we're going to be running, or maybe they do. But I don't really know. But it's exciting, but I'm also eager, but I'm also nervous because there's a lot riding on this upcoming season, which is a ways away at this point. But nonetheless, it's still something that's always going to be on our mind as football news comes up.
Yeah, and for those that haven't quite figured it out through Twitter sleuthing yet, the new offensive coordinator is a guy named J.C. McDonald, kind of a unknown around here, more on the east side of the country. He was offensive coordinator at a school I can't remember right now. Things didn't
Frostburg.
go right there, but well, before that, he was at Frostburg State. His last year there was in 2021. Afterwards, the head coach went to the FCS level, and then when that happens, coaches kind of scatter. But at that year, they went 10-1. I looked at all their games that they played that year. They put up huge offensive numbers. So there's certain if he can make it work here, I think that takes Wayne State up a big level. Also, the big thing I had noticed here was that I don't know if you remember last year, Torrance Green, he went down in the spring game with a really awful injury, and he is back out on the field now. And I think he was going to be a real big contributor for us last year until that injury happened. I think he's back now, and we're ready to see him.
Yeah, that would be nice. So,
Yep.
all that to be said, we don't know what the quarterback situation looks like. We know who we have coming back. There's a lot about this team that we don't really know what they're going to look like.
A lot that we're going to learn on that Thursday against Tiffin
That's right. Yeah. It feels like it's forever away, but we only have a couple more episodes this season. We're going to be off for,
for the summer.
2 months or 2 months, not even 3 months. And we're going to be like, well, it didn't feel like it was that long. And then we're going to be right back at it. So very exciting. Cool to see. Yeah. So we got to be in attendance for that. Very, very nice change of pace for us to just relax and hang out, talk with some people and not have the stress that comes along with game day.
Right.
So with that, that is
Two,
all we
yeah.
have. That
Holy
that was
smokes.
10. What?
Holy smokes. 2 weeks worth of sports.
Yeah, that was a lot. Luckily for those listening, we're going to do a quick break. When we come back, we only have a week of action to talk about, so it's going to be a lot shorter. We're going to try to give a little bit more, meat on the bone, a little bit more to listen in and learn about these teams. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. A lot. Oh man, oh man. All right, what can I get here? Let's see
Golf.
what yeah, let's see. I want to see what kind of like golf individuals stuff we can get.
They have a GLIAC championships. Well, that's not helpful. Let's see if we do.
We are listed as the number 3 in the Midwest region per the ITA.
Oh, for tennis.
Not for, God damn it, Ryan. For golf, not by the ITA, straight up through the NCAA.
Oh, sweet. Well, the GLIAC does not keep. So the GLIAC doesn't keep statistics on. Oh, this is tennis. But I don't think they have individual statistics
Oh,
on tennis. That's a bummer.
oh. Well, the IT on tennis, the
Oh,
ITA does.
yeah. Let me go there. Hashtag we are college tennis. D2 division niche type singles. All right, do a control F. Wayne. Cedric Drenth is number 35, and George Day is 73.
Ooh. Oh no.
What?
Our baseball team's not even top 10 in the Midwest.
Eh, that's pretty expected. They're they're kind of down this year. 1A. This is a 23. Dublaze team. Get a email. I'll look air. Single. No, just Martin. Mhm. Team. It's number 23. Yep, got that. Sweet. Is Ferris on there? Ferris is number 46. Men's side, they 30. Sweet.
All right, I'm back.
Sweet.
Checking in on the dude.
Hey,
I thought I heard him at one point, and I did. He was wailing.
oh boy.
So to get through the second half, and then I'll hold him until he falls asleep. Hopefully,
Hey. I saw a like an Instagram reel or something like the jump from, like 2 weeks to I think it was either 3 months or 6 months. I'm like, oh, that's what babies do. Because I have no experience with. I, I only saw like my little cousins like once or twice a year at most.
right?
But like when you see it just back to back, like, oh, they do grow fast.
Yeah,
Don't feel like they do, like from the outside, but yeah,
yeah. They're this. Uh, the not sleeping through the night thing is rough, and like you have to wake them up to feed them because they can't eat that much at a time. So you just got to keep feeding them to keep their stomach full, basically,
right.
until they can eat enough to be able to make it through the night. So that's going to be probably it's going to be a little bit longer. So it's a struggle, but it is what we signed up for.
Yeah, yeah. As far as I know, I think you have to do the same with kittens because I was looking. I remember looking at that like when we were getting Oreo, gosh, 10 years ago. But I think she was a little past the age where you have to do that. But I think that's just a thing with baby mammals that
Yeah,
not quite big enough yet.
right.
Oh man.
Alrighty. Yeah, let's rock out this second half. Are you able to do the audio and all that this week?
Yeah, not a
Okay.
problem.
I'll put I can handle the shorts. I'll put the YouTube link into Vizard since it takes an hour and a half anyway to be able to generate them, and we'll get shit out there to TikTok and all that. But yeah, if you don't mind doing that.
If you're watching on YouTube, this is how we do things.
Yeah, we are
Behind
a very we're a lemonade stand.
a not as much of a lemonade stand as Wayne State was 27 years ago.
True.
Alrighty.
Let's do it. And we're back. Looking ahead, let's start out with some men's golf. As we were talking about in the first half of this episode, they have some GLIAC championships coming up. But first of all, currently the Wayne State men's golf team is ranked number 24 in the country. Most recently, they were receiving votes, but as of the most recent poll that was put out there, they are officially in the top 25. Boiling it down to the Midwest region, Wayne State is ranked number 3, which is fantastic. Singster, I think you got the note here that the Golf Coaches Association of America has Wayne State at number 23, Grand Valley at number 9 here. So
Actually, that's
pretty,
wrong. You had it right. It was 24.
oh, 24. How dare I give you the faith of being more correct than me? I didn't know if we had different
Oh, don't.
polls that were doing that. But yeah, so that's what's going on here. So very cool to see our team in the top 25. They've been working at it all season. A lot of players returned, but they're finally starting to get some things to click, and that's fantastic to see. So with that, we got GLIAC championships coming up. Sangster, take it away.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the GLIAC Championships in Augusta, Michigan. Wayne State will be playing in the GLIAC Championships just like every single other team does in the GLIAC because that's how you do things in golf. It'll once again be at the trying to find what the course is called, but it's in Augusta, Michigan, where
We
it
know
has
that
been.
much.
Yeah, hold up. It'll be at the Bedford Valley Golf Course. Again, same place that's been. It'll be going Friday, April 18th, all the way through Sunday, April 20th. Basically, there are 2 rounds of stroke play, both on Friday and Saturday. And then after that is the Medal Match Play Championship semifinals on Saturday, and then Medal Match Play Championship finals on Sunday. So hopefully Wayne State can make a big run. They've had a strong season all year. Again, you look at those rankings. Only team ahead of them in the conference is Grand Valley. I don't remember offhand if there was a invite that both Wayne State and Grand Valley were at, but Wayne State has had a strong season all year. So looking for them definitely to be in play for a GLIAC title here.
Agreed. I think this event will be exquisite. I think it will be very great for all of the patrons in attendance for this one. I think we can only expect fantastic performances from all the golfers that will be at Augusta, Michigan. Fantastic stuff.
Will they have pimento cheese sandwiches?
Oh my goodness. Looking at the prices for the Masters, I'm like, holy smokes. And then I look at what the lottery process is to get tickets. And then like tickets are also like starting at $140 for just general grounds tickets. Like, thank goodness a pimento cheese sandwich is $3.
Right.
So, but I would
That's
love to
that's how
go.
all sports should do things. Like,
I,
yeah, I
yes,
wouldn't mind a high ticket to get in. When I'm in, give me $5 beer and $3 snacks.
no, 100%. So good stuff there. Track and field. This seems like one of those weeks that happens every season. It's usually in the spring, is that our team gets split between three different events, which kind of makes me think we're just like sending one of our players on like a Delta flight to like California. But we got the Azusa Pacific Brian Clay Invitational. I believe this one's out in California. We got the Laverne Leopard Invitational. That's a new name. I don't know where that one is. And
It is in
finally,
Laverne. Oh, it's in Laverne, California.
oh, well, there you go. And
Yeah.
then we also have the Oakland University Invitational.
Yep.
That
This one
one's
is
not in
the
Oakland, Michigan. That's Oakland, Michigan.
yeah. This one is the Elaine Lay Invitational. Not to be confused with the Golden Grizzlies Invitational that they literally just had on the 5th. And actually, I will point out I must have missed it because it's a very similar logo here. They'll also be competing at the Cal State Los Angeles Twilight Open on April 16th and April 17th in Los Angeles, California. So team is getting split up same days between Azusa, Los Angeles, and Laverne, California, and then somebody has to remain back here in uh in good old Metro Detroit at Oakland
Yeah.
University. So whoever got the short end of the stick on that one, I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
either way,
Sorry.
best of luck to all these competitors out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much going on there, and I know this is going to be one of those that we're going to look at and have to do our absolute best to comb through everything that happened, where it happened, when it happened. But we will do our best. But yes, best of luck to our track and field team.
Yep.
Our tennis teams are actually at home on Friday, April 18th. Both of them will be taken on Fair State, and this is the last regular season conference event before we get into postseason play for our team. So starting out, our men's tennis team currently ranked number 19 by the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. The men's tennis team is at a 13-6 overall record, 4-2 in conference play. Talking individually, Cedric Drenth is number 35 in the country, and George Day is number 73 in the country. They also pair together to make up the number 23 ranked doubles team. And when it comes to overall team ranking, Ferris State, the opponent for Wayne State, is number 30 in the country. This is a really big one here. Admittedly, I didn't pull up the standings to see what the implications of this event are, which I will do really quick unless you have it pulled up, Sangster.
I don't.
But I know like the way that this generally works out is that we only play both of these teams, or we play everybody once. There's not a home and home series for any of these teams. So you get one shot at Ferris State here, who, as I've now pulled up the standings, is one spot above Wayne State. They're at a 5-1 overall record. So a win here. Don't entirely know how the tiebreaker works out. I'm sure we'll find out at some point, either through an email from somebody within Wayne State, or we'll see what happens after the event here. But this is a big one. This is the difference between, realistically, maybe the 4 seed or the 2 seed here is what it looks like, because we just played Purdue Northwest. Purdue Northwest beat us. So if we end up tying with them, which it looks like it could happen, this one means a lot, Sangster. So this is a big one, and I'm just glad that it's at home.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The field is pretty condensed this year. Right now, you've got Grand Valley up top, 6-0, but depending on what they do with their last game of the season. So I'm going to assume that Purdue Northwest is done for the year now. Looks like because they played Roosevelt, who finished 0-7. Lake Superior State, interestingly enough, has two more games to go. The rest of these teams have just one more. So again, yeah, like exactly like you said, Ferris is right above us. They've got a 5-1 record. We'll see how the tiebreakers go and see what Wayne State can do with this one.
Yeah, really big one here. So this is on Friday. I will monitor the weather to see if this can possibly be an outdoor session. That would be fantastic if it was, but I'll tell you this weather in Michigan will not figure it out. It was 70 degrees yesterday on Monday, and it was 45 and windy today. I was wearing
And
a
felt
jacket
like
today.
27. Yeah,
Yeah, it was cold as anything. So if this weather could figure it out, that'd be fantastic.
that would be
If
great.
these tennis events could happen outside, that would be fantastic as well. But that's what we got going on there. Talking about the women's tennis team, they're also taking on Ferris State. The women's tennis team is ranked number 23 overall by the ITA. Overall record of 10-3, conference record of 7-0. Spoiler alert, they're the best team in the conference. Nobody has topped them so far. Malik Arafat and Martina Spikovska are number 15 ranked in doubles. Martina Spikovska is number 15 individually. As a team, Ferris State is number 46. So, I would say that this is one of those that has implications on standings. Admittedly, Sangster, I don't really think it does, but I'm going to bite my tongue as I say that because it actually does. Ferris is 6-1, so a loss here, knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think it'll happen, but a loss against Ferris State here would really, really upset the standings here and make things really complicated with those with those top three teams. So, big opportunity for the women's tennis team as well. Just overall, this Friday double with the men's and women's tennis team is going to be pretty big.
Yeah, right now the top three teams are Wayne State at 7-0, Grand Valley and Ferris State at 6-1, and the rest of the GLIAC is under 500 in conference play with Davenport, Lake Superior State at 3-4, Saginaw Valley at 2-4, Michigan Tech, Purdue Northwest at 2-5, and Roosevelt over 7. So yeah, big one for Wayne State. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we know that the ultimate goal is getting as far forward as you can at the NCAA tournament, but it all starts here with putting up strong performance against very good teams like Ferris State. You're probably going to end up facing Grand Valley in the GLIAC tournament coming up. So big weekend for both Wayne State tennis teams. Both teams have really big ways to impact the standings right now to see how the GLIAC tournament goes. I'm really trying to remember how the tournament goes because I don't think it's a like win. I don't think it's like basketball where it's like the split uh program and then the rest of the teams come by for the last remaining seed on that Saturday and Sunday. I think it's all one, but I could be getting confused now.
Yeah, I can't remember. It also continues to blow me away that Saginaw Valley does not have men's tennis. I was just looking at that, like our women's tennis team played one more game than the men. How does that work out? Because
You know
Saginaw
what? I
Valley
just need to
decided.
stop talking because I just clicked on the GLIAC women's tennis tournament. It's going to all be at the Greater Midland Tennis Center. I think that's where it's been for the past few years.
That sounds right.
So yeah, all going to be on a neutral site.
So good luck to our tennis teams. 2 wins on Friday does a number for both of these teams, puts them in a very good position to, in the women's side of things, get the number 1 overall seed, and the men's side possibly get the number 2 seed, and that would be fantastic because they're close in a lot of it, but a good positioning for them, I think, will, as it will with any team, it'll serve them very well. Wayne State baseball, Sangster, 18-18 overall, 7-4 in the conference. I'm not going to lie, they're roughing it a little bit right now, and they really need to start to find some wins, and they need to find them fast. Currently, looking at the Midwest region, they're not even ranked in the top 10. I cannot, for the life of you, tell you the last time I remember seeing that. I feel like it's been a while because they've just been a staple in the Midwest for D2 baseball for a while now.
Yeah, by Wayne State standards, it is kind of a down year. We'll have to see what they end up doing towards the end of the season and going into the GLIAC tournament. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's time to start finding some wins, and it's going to start right now. They've got a 4-game series at Grand Valley, one of the better teams in the not only in the conference, but I believe in the Midwest, probably even in the nation. Right now, they come in with a record of 28-9, 11-5 in the GLIAC. They've also got a another Tuesday game following that at Finley. Again, very important for the Midwest region, not so much for a conference, but just to say, hey, you're getting a record, another uh, chance to get this team above 500, really this entire weekend.
That's right. So I was digging into the conference standings a little bit because I want to
Yeah,
find out what does this weekend mean? And this weekend means a lot, as they all do. I mean, there's never a weekend where like this weekend doesn't mean much now. I mean, we're in conference play. This means everything. Looking at the baseball standings, Davenport and Grand Valley are leading the way by a few games, but Wayne State can climb the standings here with a series win at the very least, if not just drawing 2-2 against Grand Valley, and we have 5 games in hand over the Lakers. So sure, Grand Valley has many more wins than Wayne State has, but they've also played 5 more games. So when you look at that win percentage, it's really not that much different here. If we can get a 2-2 series, we don't really make up that much ground. If we're able to win the series, knock on wood, I hope it happens. We probably take the second seed from them. I didn't do the percentage math there, but the way that things work out and who the Wayne State baseball team has a conference in conference play for the rest of the season, we could very easily, without Grand Valley even playing their games because they don't have as many games remaining as we do, we could take that second spot from them. So that's what's at play here. It's a really big one, but on the flip side, you can't make this you can't go out there and get swept. I don't really know if you can go out there and only win one game. I think you have to go out there and sweep at the very least if you want the rest of your season to, not necessarily mean something, but be very, very meaningful when it comes to standings.
yeah, and at the end of the day, we're gonna see what this team can do just going forward. So whatever it ends up being is kind of whatever it ends up being. I don't think this team is in danger of missing the GLIAC tournament per se, but we'll have to see what they can do.
That's right.
And last but not least, we've got softball who comes in with a record of 19-25. They're 8-12 in the conference. Uh, for the record, regarding their record, uh, right now they have exceeded their overall record by 2 wins from the previous year. Conference wins, they still got to get one more to tie from the previous season. Right now they're in 12. They had 9 wins in the conference all last season. So they do have an opportunity now. Uh, one note, there was a doubleheader scheduled at Ferris. That has already been postponed for some reason. Looking at the schedule now, it's been moved to April 22nd. So they'll start out with a doubleheader at Davenport uh, Saturday, April 19th. Davenport comes in with a record of 17-21 and 8-10 in the conference, right around where Wayne State is at right now. And then they also have a Tuesday doubleheader against Ohio Dominican,
Which was canceled.
which was canceled because of that Fair State game. You have to, of course, like when we make these notes and then we look at the schedule, things just happen to change right when you're going to record it. So they'll be having that doubleheader against Ferris State instead. Ferris State comes in with a record of 21-13 and 10-8 in the conference right now. And the thing about the GLIAC right now is because outside of Saginaw Valley, most of the conference is only within a few games of each other. They're all very close in the standings. And so if Wayne State could sweep a doubleheader or two, maybe even just split, they could easily make a top 4 seed in the upcoming GLIAC softball tournament.
Yeah. I think it's entirely possible. I mean, I think, a lot of these away series are going to be tough, but then you also look at some of these home series. We get swept at home like that. That cannot be a thing that happens. But that being said, there's so much opportunity in front of them here that if they can start to rattle off some of these games, they've shown at times that they can be a very good team. And by and large, they're right in line with most of the GLIAC outside of Saginaw Valley. So there's really no reason to believe that they can't get up to be, top four, top three, maybe even the number two seed. I mean, I know I'm stretching a little bit there, but just the standings tell me that that's still possible. And it's not like it's eight, six, seven, 8 games out of reach. It's like 3 or 4 games out of reach. So it's that's how close they are in this one.
Right. And yeah, they're probably not going to catch Saginaw Valley. They've got Saginaw Valley right now is 18-2 in the conference. They are running away with this thing. Uh, but yeah, Grand Valley State's only at 12-8. They've played two more games than, or no, they played the same amount of games that Wayne State has. Davenport, Parkside, and Fair State have played less games than Wayne State, so we'll have to see how that shakes out. Again, probably because that's probably why how the schedule has worked out how it has with these cancellations, moving games around, how kind of these teams are at different points where they want to be. But yeah, it's exactly what you said. Wayne State has a big opportunity right here this weekend.
Yep, they certainly do. So very excited to see what happens here. It definitely sounds like that Ohio Dominican doubleheader probably just straight up won't happen, and that's fine.
Yeah, I
That's not
don't.
in conference play. Throw it out the window. It never mattered anyway. I mean, it did matter, but like it was the least impactful of the bunch. So in place of that, we get to head on out for an away series for GLIAC play. So very excited to see what happens here. The one I'm really looking at this tennis stuff. I think that's the immediate impact here, Sangster, is you have a team on Friday you get to take on this in the conference play, and it has a lot to do with the standings here. And on one hand, you can solidify yourself as the 1 seed. On the other hand, you can make yourself the 2 seed. It just requires you to go out there and win, which I think both teams can do. I hope the weather's nice. I hope they're able to get outside and have a lot of fun in this one and just kind of let the nerves not be so much of an issue there. But we'll see there. But outside of that, the men's golf team heading up for the GLIAC championships. That's a really cool one. I'll be following along with the stats on that one. I know the production's not going to be as cool as like the Masters or
No.
anything, but I'll still be following
Live
along with the live stats. There you go.
Yeah, that one's going to be very interesting because they don't necessarily need to win it per se to get where they want to go, get into the Midwest Regional for the NCAA tournament. But it would be nice to say that, hey, Wayne State has a GLIAC championship under their belt. I'm not sure when the last time they won it was offhand, but I believe it's been a while. So something that you can hoist get a trophy, hoist a banner if yeah, we've got banners in the math eye basically. So something for Wayne State golf to put under their belt going into the eventual NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's right. So fun week, a lot of stuff going on here. So with that, this has been episode 95 covering the last 2 weeks of Wayne State athletics. So with that, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 95 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.